It's Friday, June 25th, 2021, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The White House has announced that a bipartisan $1 trillion deal on infrastructure spending has been reached. Congressional reporter Harris Alec reports the proposal indicates that $1.2 trillion would be spent over 8 years. Of that, more than $579 billion would come from new revenue sources, such as narrowing the tax gap, the difference between taxes owed and taxes paid. Funding for the deal would also come from repurposing $125 billion in unused coronavirus relief funds. Similarly, federal unemployment insurance that was rejected by state governments because of tight labor markets would also be repurposed. To the chagrin of progressives, however, the package focuses exclusively on conventional infrastructure. Of the total, $579 billion would go toward upgrading the nation's roads, bridges, and other transportation systems. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has pledged to oppose the deal unless her and progressive Democrats can guarantee spending related to social welfare and climate change will be pushed through separately via the budget reconciliation process in the Senate. Staying with spending, the U.S. Navy is committed to decommission 15 ships and reduce its procurement by nearly 9% to redirect funds toward research and development for warfare capabilities. Joseph Clark reports the Navy's plan is to divest in current capabilities and invest in future war technology as the service makes tough budgetary decisions. But lawmakers and defense experts say that strategy has a poor track record and delays much-needed capabilities, including facing a rising threat from China. The Pentagon's budget request of $715 billion is up just 1.6% over last year. The Navy's share of nearly $212 billion is up 1.8% year over year and also trails inflation. The Salvation Army has released a guide for its members to take on racism by facilitating teaching and discussion about racial issues. Mark Kellner reports the evangelical organization is encouraging its members to engage in conversations about race and racism and ask for God to open hearts and minds to the issue of racism. The group claims a church membership of nearly 2 million globally, and in the United States, the organization maintains 7,600 centers of activity and says it helps 23 million American families each year. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. Stephen Dinan has the story of Eric Nyman, a Hershey, Pennsylvania restaurant owner who's been fending off activists trying to drive away business after he led a lawsuit to help block special COVID-19 relief privileges for minority-owned restaurants. Nyman went to court arguing that the racial preference program Congress and President Biden created for pandemic bailout money for restaurants was unconstitutional. A series of federal judges reached the same conclusion and blocked the program on the grounds that it violated the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. That's drawn the ire of political activists. The $28.6 billion restaurant fund was part of the coronavirus relief package signed by the president in March. So far, some $27.4 billion has been paid out to more than 100,000 restaurants. And finally, military reporter Mike Glenn has an update on former Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher. Gallagher was the defendant in a court-martial accused of horrendous war crimes in a case that strained relations between former President Trump and his top military advisors. Gallagher was found not guilty of murder in the 2017 death of an Islamic State fighter in Iraq after some members of his own SEAL team accused him. He's now written a book telling his side of the deeply polarizing story. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the front page. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also listen to the front page on Amazon Alexa connected devices. Just say, Alexa, play the front page podcast. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.